welcome to Inner Peace, Better Health, the
Yes.
podcast where we explore the resilience, mindset, and inner strength needed to navigate life's biggest challenges. I'm your host, Saima, and today we are joined by Laura Bratton, a speaker, author, coach, and founder of Foodie Global, an organization that empowers people to overcome challenges with grit and gratitude. Laura's story is one of extraordinary perseverance. At just 9 years old, she was diagnosed with an eye disease that meant she would gradually lose her sight. Over the next decade, she faced the difficult reality of adjusting to life without vision. But rather than letting this define her, she forged her own path, graduating from Arizona State University with a degree in psychology and becoming the first blind student to receive a Master of Divinity from Princeton Theological Seminary. She is also the author of Harnessing Courage, a book that teaches us how to move forward despite fear, uncertainty, and change. So, today we are talking about how to navigate life's biggest transitions with resilience, purpose, and gratitude. So, let's dive in. Laura, your journey required tremendous resilience for sure. So, how did you begin to navigate the reality of losing your sight at such a young age?
So the first step was acknowledging the reality of the difficulty. So when I first started to lose a significant amount of sight, my instant mindset was I'll just be positive and I'll just push through and just be strong and positive and it'll be easy. But I quickly realized that was just denying the reality of the severity. So the first step in that resilience, the first step in that grit was choosing to believe and acknowledge and accept this is really hard and just accepting that. And then at the same time saying, this is really hard. So I choose to have that daily grit to move forward.
Hmm. So, can you share the biggest mental or emotional shift you had to make during that transition?
Yes. So without a doubt, the biggest transition emotionally and mentally that I had to make was living in both holding the space for the mindset of this is really hard and major adversity and a traumatic experience as a teenager. And I choose to believe in myself to move forward. So holding those two perspectives in balance was incredibly healing and empowering as I moved forward because it wasn't just pushing forward, it wasn't just being in denial, but it was choosing both at the same time. That was the biggest shift for me.
That's so powerful, Laura. That real changes isn't about avoiding the hard parts, but about, learning to navigate with them with
Right.
grace, right?
Right. 100%.
Mm-hmm. Now, you speak about greed as a key factor in overcoming challenges. So, how do we develop greed when we are faced with uncertainty or setbacks?
So, in my experience, like I said, viewing the future, it was just, oh, I'm going to be strong and positive. But that was incredibly overwhelming. Gave me so much anxiety and just fear. So, the grit that I found that helped was that grit of each day, each moment. So, rather than being overwhelmed by the whole experience of living the rest of my life as a person without sight, having that daily grit to say, okay, today I choose to believe in myself. Today I choose to support and trust the support around me. So rather than viewing grit as the whole life forward, viewing it in those daily moment to moment perspective, that was the grit that was empowering.
So, can you share an example of a time when you had to push through adversity using sheer perseverance?
Absolutely. So a perfect example would be of that the daily grit that I just described was my senior year in high school. As I was starting my senior year, I was starting a new academic year, thinking about where I was going to apply to college. And I also was making the decision if I wanted to get my first guide dog. And if so, what guide dog school I would apply to. So again, looking at all of those situations and decisions was overwhelming. So when I decided to take it day by day and say, okay, all I have to do today is focus on getting through this school day. All I have to do tomorrow is think about the schools, the colleges that I'm going to apply to. So rather than doing it all at one time, breaking it down into manageable sections, manageable moments of grit. That's what taught me I can face this major adversity by taking it literally moment by moment, step by step.
I love that. That greed isn't just about toughness, it's about choosing to move forward even when it's difficult, no?
Yes, 100%. That's exactly what you just perfectly said what I learned. Yes.
Yes, absolutely. You emphasize gratitude as a tool for navigating change. So, how does gratitude help us stay grounded and resilient even in difficult moments?
So again, it goes back to that originally I thought just be positive, push through. And I realized it was very hard to be positive in my current situation. So what I found the gift of the gratitude, the empowerment of the gratitude was being grateful for what supported me in the adversity. So again, just like I talked about, the grit was acknowledging the difficulty while still moving forward. The gratitude was acknowledging difficulty and being grateful for the support around me. So it wasn't gratitude like I'm grateful for the blindness. It was the gratitude of, okay, this is my current reality. How do I be grateful for what I do have, the support I do have around me?
So, can you share a simple daily practice anyone can use to shift their mindset towards gratitude?
Yeah. So the practice I use that helped me shift that mindset and again create that daily ritual that developed this life of gratitude was starting by at the end of each day, just writing down three things that I was thankful for. And it was very simple things like I'm thankful I made it through the day. I'm thankful that my panic attacks were less today than they were yesterday. So it doesn't have to be those huge moments, but just recognizing at the end of our day three things that we're grateful for. And then what happened for me is after doing that practice for several weeks, I found that throughout my day, I just started thinking about things I was grateful for. And then that slowly creates a life of gratitude. So a practice that everyone can start is those three things they're grateful for every day.
That's such a beautiful shift, Laura, that gratitude isn't about ignoring challenges, it's about finding light within them.
100%. Yes, absolutely.
So, you were the first blind student to receive a Master of Divinity, and that's really incredible. So, how did faith and resilience help you navigate that uncharted territory?
So that is where the grit and gratitude completely came in. So it was the grit of I had to acknowledge, okay, they haven't had a student who's blind before, yet I'm so grateful they're willing to make the accommodations that I need to get through the master's program. So it was that working together to for me to have the strength and the grit within myself to say, these are my needs, these are the accommodations I need, and be grateful that they were willing to meet those needs and just be grateful I was able to complete the master's program. So just
Mhm.
again, holding that grit and gratitude and complete balance.
So, what would you like to say to someone who is, stepping into an uncertain future and feeling afraid?
The first thing I would say is feel and acknowledge that what you are experiencing is a fearful situation. And then trust that even in that difficult, fearful, unknown situation, you are enough.
That's really incredible. And that's really a reminder faith that, whether in ourselves a high power or the journey can be an anchor in uncertain times, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And just having knowing that you're enough gives us the strength to then have those daily moments of grit, those daily moments of resiliency balanced with the gratitude.
Absolutely, I completely agree with that. Now, through OP Global, you help people overcome their own obstacles. Can you share the biggest lesson you teach people about navigating change?
The biggest lesson that I teach over and over and over, and that I witness in so many people that I work with, is again just acknowledging, even in this uncertainty, even in this difficulty, I trust myself. And even in the uncomfortable panic, depression, loneliness, whatever the feeling might be, I still am worthy and matter and have gifts to contribute. Because what I found in both in myself and the people I work with, when we're in the midst of difficult situations, in the midst of adversity, in the midst of those uncertain times, it's so easy to forget that we matter. It's so easy to forget that we have a purpose and that we have unique gifts to contribute. Whatever those gifts are, those gifts still matter. So, in that coaching role, what I'm often doing is reminding the person, yes, this is incredibly fearful and anxiety producing, and your gifts still matter. And you still have gifts to contribute to this world.
Now, if someone listening is feeling stuck in fear or doubt, what's the, first step they can take to move forward?
The first step they can take is, again, knowing that you matter and just doing one small, tiny step that will move you towards that goal. It's so easy to get overwhelmed at the magnitude of our situation. So, acknowledging the magnitude of your situation and then taking that first step to say, okay, what can I do in the next hour that will move me forward? And then after that hour is complete, what can I do in the next 2 hours? And then what's that complete? Just continuing to build on those small segments of the day.
I love that, Laura. Sometimes just taking the first small step can shift our entire mindset towards possibility.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. That was my experience and has continued to be my experience.
Mm-hmm. Laura, your story is a testament to the power of courage, resilience, and gratitude. You have shown us that change isn't something to fear, it's something to face with open arms, knowing we have the strength to navigate it. And to all our listeners, if you're facing a major life transition, take Laura's wisdom with you. You're stronger than you think, and your journey is unfolding exactly as it should. You can connect with Laura Bratton and check out her book, Harnessing Courage, for deeper insights on resilience and growth. Until next time, embrace change, trust yourself, and keep moving forward with courage.